If you hear me!
What's good, people, and welcome back to another episode of HIYHM Weekly. I'm your humble host, Fraz, and joining me as always is the ring historian, Dirty Dave. But unfortunately, we're missing one part of the Shield this week. The kayfabe assassin, Mr. Andy Nero, is on assignment on the coast of Suffolk. Who knows what he's up to? We'll find out next week, though. But don't you worry, we're still going to bring you all of the news from WWE this week. We're going to take a trip down memory lane from the vault and our roundtable discussion this week. But before we get into it, guys, you know the drill by now. Hit that like button, smash the bell for notifications, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a beat. Now, without further ado, David, it's just me and you, the gruesome twosome.
Oh, no.
Let's get into it. How you doing, brother?
I'm all good, my man. We will just have to doubly contribute, I suppose, won't we? But yeah, I mean, I'm shattered. But I'll tell you why I'm shattered, shall I? It's because I watched so much wrestling over the weekend.
You did say.
That I feel like I need another weekend to recover. Going back to work was not what I had in mind after the beast of a weekend of wrestling. But I was pleasantly surprised. So let's see how we go and see what we think.
Indeed. Well, 4 days, 4 shows, 2 of them are PLEs. Let's start with SmackDown.
Smack.
Yeah, there was a few main points I want to talk about. I know you didn't like it too much. Jelly Roll, Randy Orton. Logan Paul. I liked Logan Paul. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I thought that was amazing.
His promo was awesome. How he doesn't like part-timers coming in.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not one of us. How dare you come here and try and take over or whatever it was he said. Yeah. But it was magic.
That made me die.
Deal. Yeah, he is very good. But obviously,
I just can't.
Go on.
No, I just can't see. I don't mind the concept. I just can't see Jelly Roll. I don't know. It smells like Jay Leno from WCW, and I just think Logan Paul is phenomenal in the ring. It's just a lot of people don't like him as a human being. Yeah. Whereas Jelly Roll, what is he going to do in the ring? And
well, apparently he's been training. He's been training for a couple of months, and he's mates with The Rock, isn't he?
He has lost a lot of weight.
He has. He has indeed. I'm all for it. I like it. It's going to be another spot on the card that needs filling because, as we've already alluded to, 2 nights at SummerSlam. You know, and it brings eyes to the product, doesn't it?
Well, it does. It does do that. It definitely does that. But I'm sure at some point we're going to talk about the current SummerSlam card, so I won't say too much now. But yeah, it's looking pretty stacked now, and I was worried a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. The other main point was the tag champs, Montez Ford and what's it? Angelo Dawkins get defeated by the Wyatt Six.
Interesting that we had a big debate last week about the Wyatts and how this whole scenario seems to be making the Wyatts more important than the tag champs or the tag titles themselves and all the other teams. And then they go and win the tag titles. Not saying they don't deserve it. I think they've had a stop-start for 18 months. But it'd be interesting to see where we go now, because at least they're not above the titles anymore. They are the titles, so hopefully that will sort of reinvigorate the division. And hopefully everybody else will stop being scared of them, and we can start having some quality matches. But I thought a bit soon. I thought maybe SummerSlam. But they've done it, so let's see where we go.
Well, we were moaning that they don't get enough TV time. The last 4 weeks or so, they've had TV time. They've won the titles now. One thing I will be interested to see is if they do a New Day and switch the tag teams around a bit, because it was Jacy and Loomis, wasn't it, on Friday? I would hazard a guess and say that there are so many good tag teams that they will repay us for our patience and make some kind of, I don't know, fatal four-way or TLC match with a few of the teams in at SummerSlam. They've definitely got the real estate to do it over 2 nights.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Be a crying shame if they don't. But yeah, I'm just interested to see what happens. I'm not too disappointed with it. If they were going to give them a push and now they've got the titles, they can. I think we already talked about our dislike of Fraxium getting squashed last week. But we just have to wait and see, don't we? They obviously know what they're doing with it, and we can only hope it's going to be more of what the tag division has been over the last sort of 12 months or so.
For sure, and that's kind of my point I'm badly trying to make, is that they're now, like I say, they're now not above the tag titles. It's about the tag titles, whereas we had the few weeks of, okay, what's important here, the tag titles or the Wyatts? I love the Wyatts, don't get me wrong, but all the other teams, it was all just a bit odd, wasn't it? They were all fighting amongst each other as to who was going to fight the Wyatts, and you sort of think, well, hang on, tag titles are top.
Yeah.
They're top dollar. So good. So they've painted themselves in a position now where that is the case again, and we're back to the titles being important. And like you say, now we can start getting back to matches, which would be great. And yeah, I mean, TLC originated at SummerSlam back in 2000, so why don't we have some sort of crazy TLC match maybe?
That would be good. Maybe Pretty Deadly will make their return at SummerSlam.
Pretty Deadly. Yeah.
The only other thing I want to talk about from SmackDown noteworthy was the LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Jacy Mateo main event. What did you think?
Well, I've got two sort of takes on this. One, I need to point out how over LA Knight is, because he came out at the start of the show, and God, it was like Austin had come out. It's louder, more screams, because there's more kids in the audience these days, but wow, was that loud. Obviously, that segment then set to making the tag match at the end of the show, which was good, because it gave us that beginning of the show, the end of the show. So we've got the bookend. We're invested to watch the rest of the show. But then, of course, our hero is left laying at the end of it, ultimately, which I thought would lead to more on Saturday night's main event, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah.
Yeah, post-match carnage ensued.
That's right.
I made my opinions very clear on LA Knight, that he is over. He is over at the moment. And the more I watch him, the more I'm into him. I will never say that I hate anyone, but he's just not my cup of tea, unfortunately.
No, and I mean, that's fine, but he's, I'm not sold on, let's strap him to the moon by any stretch of the imagination, but you turn SmackDown on, for us in the UK, I bung it on a Saturday morning, and Jesus, that pop woke me up. It's the first thing. It's like, oh, we're live on SmackDown, and then LA Knight hits, and the crowd just went nuts.
Yeah. But they
which
have
is good
for a while, though.
They've
for a while. I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago. It's just some of the reactions he gets. It's mad.
Yep.
But yeah, so me and Dave have both decided we're not going to talk too much about Saturday night's main event or Evolution, because we want to promote 2 recap videos that we're going to do and we'll post out later this week. So with that being said, let's talk about Raw.
Can I just say one more thing about SmackDown? If
you want to.
Sorry. I'm loving the Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair storyline. I thought that was really good. And we will talk more about that in Saturday night's main event. Evolution's recap show. Yeah. Good.
Very good. Very good. But Raw on the whole for me was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked how they sort of continued Evolution really for the first hour and a half of the show. Naomi came out and cut a really good promo. I can't tell you how much I'm loving her work at the moment.
Yeah.
I think I said she might have been like the 6th or 7th face in the company, and she could be the top heel. And she pretty much is at the moment. She's just doing everything right.
Oh, so good. So good at the moment. Can't fault anything from her at the minute.
And spoiler alert, she cashed in, and she is the champ. And now it's going to be Rhea, Io, and Naomi at SummerSlam, which I, for one, am quite happy with. I know I've read a few things that people are pissed off that Rhea's in the title match again, but when you have the kind of match that Rhea and Io had on Sunday night, and then you chuck Naomi in, plus if you even go back to when the triple threat with Bianca at WrestleMania, it's going to be straight fire.
Arguably the best match at WrestleMania. So, certainly one of the best. That triple threat match was absolutely outstanding, and we'll talk about the match at Evolution, but that was a phenomenal main event, and I think I can't see how anyone can complain about that.
No, not at all. Not
at all. And we have got a build to Perth in October, so we've got to keep Rhea hot. That's probably where she'll win it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, I won't say too much because we'll talk about Evolution in a bit. But I am very happy with that triple threat match at SummerSlam. That is now a monster women's championship match. Far more interested in that one than the WWE women's title.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, as things stand, obviously that might change, but
let's talk about the most important thing on Raw. Some people will say the return of Roman Reigns. I'm going to talk about Bron Breakker.
The Braun show, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it's unbelievable. We were debating before we went on air whether we would include the Gunther, Bron, Paul Heyman segment, but it is worth talking about because it was just awesome. I mean, there was mentions of the next big thing, the big dog.
Big dog. My yard, or his yard.
It's his yard.
Yeah.
And Gunther was great as well. The segment finished and I was like, Gunther's the man, Bron Breakker's the man. This is the future of wrestling right here. Along with a few others.
It certainly helped Gunther, and it certainly helped Bron Breakker. I'm just interested to see where we go with this, because it's who's face and who's heel. Because before we get this, we've got this gauntlet match at the end of the show. Do you want to lead to that?
Well, why not? Bron starts the match, doesn't he?
He does.
Penta first. Penta first, which was great. I mean, the match was 42 minutes, I think I read.
Yeah.
And it was quite. Everyone got some good time. Obviously, Bron got the most time because he beat Penta, he beat LA Knight, beat Jey Uso, and then Mr. CM, see you next Tuesday, comes in. and as I have alluded to, I'm not his biggest fan, but recently I have started to enjoy his work in the ring and on the mic, and I wasn't too disappointed that he won.
No.
Yeah, it just showcased that you need 4 top talents to beat Bron Breakker. He's that unstoppable.
At the moment,
did not hurt him at all, did it?
Oh no. This was all about. This was the Bron Breakker coming out party, and like we said before, you don't need to win all the time to be over. I mean, the bottom line is he's the most memorable part of Raw, without a shadow of a doubt. Even diehard CM Punk fans are probably sitting there going, "Yeah, he won. Hello, can we talk about it, please?" Because everyone's talking about Bron Breakker. And rightly so. That's what the show was built for. Definitely delivered from that front. And this is going to be really exciting, I think, where we go with this.
Question for you, as you're the encyclopedia of WWE. Has there ever been a wrestler mid-match drink water?
Well, probably only The Rock. Maybe Triple H. But then mainly only drink it to then spit it on someone.
Yeah. I mean, it was I just thought it was a cool spot. I loved his trash talking in the ring as well.
Oh, he's so
Especially
good.
with Punk at the end when he was like, "What time is it? Is it clobbering time? I don't think so."
He's so much better on the mic than people think. I like the fact
Yeah.
that he's a bit wild, but he has got that Scott Steiner-esque, like, there is a point. It's not just, it's crazy, it's intense, and it's real, but it does make sense.
Yeah,
It's not just...
he's very calculated when he talks. He's well spoken. I'm all for them putting all their eggs in the basket and letting Bron run with it. But CM Punk wins again. Not disappointed with that at all. That's going to be an amazing match with him and Gunther.
Yep.
But we do get the return of Roman Reigns. They had to push the button for him to feature at SummerSlam.
Yes.
And the question is, what's he going to do?
Well, he comes out and saves the day at the end of the match, doesn't he? Predominantly to save Jay Uso, and sort of by definition CM Punk, but really he was there to save Jay.
Yeah.
So I think where we possibly would have had a 6-man tag at SummerSlam, I reckon we're heading towards Roman and Jay versus Braun and Reed for a monster tag match that might be night one main event, maybe. Not sure. I think it deserves to be, because we don't know what the plans are, but I think you look at it now and you go, I think that was going to be a 6-man tag match with Seth Rollins involved, possibly Jimmy Uso, or maybe Sami Zayn comes back. Not sure who's going to win, but ultimately I still think Seth was going to cash in on Punk the following night, or later on that night maybe. But we'll see. We'll see where we go. But I'd be very surprised if this isn't a Roman and Jay tag match against Bronson and Braun.
Breaker. Yeah, I'm just it, and I've said obviously I'm not really too interested in LA Knight, but it does make me think. Well, what's he going to do now? Because if Roman comes back with Jay, tags with Jay, it would have been probably him with those two against Seth, Braun, and Bronson. But who knows?
No, yeah, that's a really good shout. Actually, it probably would have been. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with him now. That's assuming Roman does go with Jay. There's still a few weeks to go. Some bumps in the road. Things can change. That's just what it looks like at the minute. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I will say his appearances are sparse. They're few and far between, and they're only going to get worse. I think he's due to leave anyway after SummerSlam, isn't he? Because if this Street Fighter film is going ahead and they're filming it straight after,
potentially,
he's not going to be involved in any intense storylines. I even been surprised if they'd pulled the trigger on him and Seth in a singles match at SummerSlam. It definitely would have been some form of, Seth's faction versus Roman and a couple of others. So it doesn't surprise me that that's happened. But hey, Roman's money, right? And we all wanted to see him come back, and that was a super babyface return.
Face return, yeah, and needs it again to build to SummerSlam. I mean, all of a sudden, we've now got 3 monster. Well, in my opinion, we've now got 3 monster championship matches in the Cena Rhodes Gunther Punk, and then the Rhea Ripley Naomi and the Io Sky. You've now got 2 monster tag matches. Jelly Roll. I almost called him Jelly Orton. That could be their tag team name. Versus Drew Logan, and Roman and Jay versus Braun and Reed. Plus, we've got the Intercontinental title match, and for the women, and we've got the WWE Women's Championship, but Tiffy Time versus Mangill. So we'll see how we go there. Just very quickly, while I've realised I've mentioned the Women's Intercontinental title match. It was a good match.
Yes,
but
that was
Lyra,
what I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Lyra versus Bayley in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I like 2 out of 3 falls matches. I think they're very good, and actually they have quite a tradition at SummerSlam. But I'm not keen on Lyra. I was disappointed she won the match. I can't stand her. And I'm Becky versus Lyra for the Intercontinental title. It's not doing it for me. Very, very disappointing. I want to see maybe Bayley.
water is wet, and I wanted Bayley to win. But I will say, Lyra and Becky have had some bangers. Their match at Backlash was good. The match at Money in the Bank was great. Their match at Evolution was great.
I think
it's going to be a great match. It's quite repetitive, and I would have liked to see Bayley go one-on-one with Becky. Even though we had that, didn't we have that at? Oh God, I can't remember now. I can't remember where we had it, but maybe it was a Raw match, or maybe it was on Saturday night's main event. But I'm pretty sure those two.
Becky.
No, maybe they didn't. Maybe that was
Hanson.
That was a triple threat, wasn't it?
Mm.
I'm just getting confused. Probably the whiskey. Excuse me. But yes, I thought the match itself was very good. And I have no issues with Lyra in the ring. Her mic work is what kills it for me.
I just don't like her character, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the ring she's good. I just can't see this match at SummerSlam being an end to it. So I'm just not sure why we're getting it again yet. But who knows? I mean, I'm not writing it, so let's see how we go. Like you say, it will be a good match, but I'm just not invested in Lyra as a character. Whereas Becky, on the other hand, going heel, she's got me so invested in her, the way she's acting and the way she is. I'm really interested in that. I just don't see that we're getting any of the payoff from this whole Bayley scenario from, WrestleMania. Yes, we got the triple threat match at Evolution, but that is, and we'll talk about that in our recap, that's far from over. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's poor. She's been screwed twice now. If she was screwed out of a WrestleMania match, and now she's being screwed out of a SummerSlam match.
Just seems a bit odd.
I would have preferred to see her fight Becky, but it's not happening. But the most important thing is Becky Lynch is on fire. She's doing some of the best work she's ever done. Even you're sort of kind of interested in what she does with her character work. So,
so much better.
It's going to be a good match. It's just whether or not you're interested in watching it for the fourth time.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. That's probably it. I'm not invested enough in Lyra. But let's see. There's a few weeks to go. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of last chance fatal four-way and Bayley wins, and then we've got 2 triple threat matches for both women's titles at SummerSlams, and then we can have a stipulation in this one. Which might be interesting. Who knows?
Indeed.
Who knows? Yeah, I think we've just taken a back step as opposed to progressed. But there's a plan. There's always a plan. I just need to sit back and enjoy it.
Indeed. And with that being said, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this week's From the Vault with the Ring Historian.
It's From the Vault time. Okay, right. I have got a few notes. I haven't got the sunglasses this week, okay? And obviously, we have established that Canadian Stampede has been done now, and that Bret Hart's birthday cannot possibly go into 3 weeks. Although the Queen or the King has 2 birthdays a year, apparently Bret Hart doesn't. And I've had all the feedback this week, so don't worry, I won't mention it anymore.
However, if you'd like to sign our petition for Bret Hart to have 2 birthdays a year, Andy Godwin has that.
Yeah, we love Bret. Andy Godwin. Anyway, yes, no, bless him. No, it's all cool. So, actually, we'll start with Andy, because I do try and find stuff each week that I think might pique either Andy's or Fraz's interest. And then, they get like 1 or 2 each, but then I hit you guys with like 10, because you obviously deserve more. But I'm going to start with Andy, and it's a bit of a tribute to the fact that someone we all love is actually out injured at the moment with a really, really bad shoulder. So I saw this and thought, okay, this makes sense. So this week in wrestling history, in 2015, Gable and Jordan debuted on NXT as a tag team. Shad Gable, who I actually think really is Kurt Angle's son. I think they messed that completely up with Jason Jordan, and that should be Chad Gable. So that's an interesting one. And I've got one more for Andy as well, because I'm keeping it WWE to a degree. In 2005, there was an attorney a scene where there was an attorney, legal lawyer, whatever you want to call him, solicitor, in the ring by the name of Thomas Whitney. It was in a segment with The Undertaker, and that Thomas Whitney would turn out to be a member of DIY. Raz, which member of DIY do you think it was?
Was that Mr. Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano?
Oh, no, you had a 50-50 chance. Sorry.
Oh, well, yeah.
So for that, I'm now not going to give you your ones that I found for you. Never mind.
Fair enough.
It was Beard himself. I thought you'd love him.
Ciampa.
Yeah. But he didn't have a beard at the time. Clean shaven, black hair, slicked back, looked dreadful. But yeah, he was in development at the time. Got a little shout on TV in the ring as an attorney serving The Undertaker some papers. I think it had something to do with JBL. Or no,
when was this? 2007, did you say?
2005.
2005.
Yeah, no, so it wouldn't have been JBL. It would have been either Randy Orton or Vicky Guerrero doing something with him in the build-up to SummerSlam 2005. Well,
God,
anyway.
that is a sight that I do not want to think about. Vicky Guerrero and Undertaker doing stuff to each other. Jesus. Anyway,
in a tombstone match. All right. Well, I'll hit you with yours because it's just harsh and to not give you yours. So this week in wrestling history on Monday Night Raw. Why have I emphasised that? Well, I had to, didn't I? Because we're watching Monday Night Raw in 2002. We're still watching it now. So what does that mean, everybody? Quite simply, that means that Raw and the WWE won the Monday Night Wars. Yeah? We're not watching Nitro, are we? We're watching Raw. Did you ever think, watching a live episode of Monday Night Raw, that Eric Bischoff would be introduced and brought out onto the stage to be given the general manager's job?
With the greatest theme music of all time.
Back. Yeah, and
Better than ever.
So that is exactly what happened from East Rutherford, New Jersey. It was on Raw, and Mr. McMahon brought in the former chief executive, the head honcho, the man who went toe-to-toe, head-to-head with Vince McMahon on Monday nights, Eric Bischoff. And we started a new era of Raw, an Eric Bischoff era. And actually, he's the longest running general manager. So for
Bischoff
all the different
is?
people, yeah, Bischoff and Teddy Long.
No
but yeah,
way.
Yeah, because Stephanie didn't last very long. Vicky didn't last very long. When they've changed it, they had the anonymous Raw general manager. Bischoff kept that role from 2002 to almost 2006. So he literally,
long.
He almost had it for 4 years. Yeah, co-general manager for a year or 8 months with Austin. But yeah, so there you go.
Mind you, the two that we've got now are probably a couple of years.
It's not 4 though, is it? It's not 4.
No, it's not 4. No,
but, but you're right. We are getting close. We're getting close.
Kurt Angle had it for a little while, didn't he?
4 months, I think. He pretended to be injured
not 4
again.
Years. Yeah.
He
Are you sure it's 4 months or 4 years?
4 months. Right. As you're clearly in one of those moods, I'll give you your last one. So in July in 1995, you might remember there's a little pay-per-view called In Your House 2. And the Intercontinental title match was Double J, Jeff Jarrett, versus Shawn Michaels. And Double J sang a song, didn't he?
Oh, don't make me sing it, Dave.
All right, I won't make you sing it. Well, can we have it in Mexican later, please?
Oh, yeah, of course we can,
with Evolution. Right, well, it's not about that because we're not quite there yet, but it is Double J's birthday this week. So I just thought I'd hit you with that. And I thought because it's his birthday, you might want to sing Happy Birthday in the true song, which is actually not Happy Birthday, it's With My Baby Tonight.
With My Baby Tonight, yeah. When I wake up in the morning. Yeah.
When you wake up. Anyway, so in addition to that, he shares this week's wrestling birthdays with another legend who absolutely detests people walking out of a steel cage door, and that is Jacy the Body Ventura. So he was born in 1951 this week. July the 15th is his birthday, so that was yesterday because we're recording today on the 16th. So happy birthday to Jacy and Double J. How funny is this? Double J, Jesse James, not Jesse James, Jacy the Body Ventura. But there's a bit of a link there. That just made me laugh.
Happy birthday to the sexual Tyrannosaurus, Jesse
Yeah,
Ventura.
who just does not have time to bleed.
No.
Also, a bit of this is non-wrestling, but last week on, was it our worst 5 champions?
Mm-hmm.
I made reference to Patrick Stewart and Jean-Luc Picard, so I just thought I'd quickly slap in here that it's the 25th anniversary this week of X-Men, the first X-Men film, where obviously Patrick Stewart plays Professor X. So there you go.
That.
And it's Patrick Stewart's birthday this week as well. So there you go. A little digression. Next week I'll be in a wheelchair for everyone, and I'll do my Patrick Stewart impression.
I was going to
Oh
say,
no, I won't.
happy birthday, Wheels. No, you'll be on holiday.
I'll be on holiday. Never mind. I tried.
But you can be in a wheelchair on holiday, can't you?
I probably will be. No, my luck. Right, back to wrestling. Let's get serious. On this week in wrestling history, the biggest main event tag team duo of all time make their WWE debut in 1990. That's right, it's the Road Warriors. They'd been repackaged and called the Legion of Doom. Yep, it's on an episode of Challenge and they come out and absolutely smash some people in 30 seconds, but that's exactly what you want. We're on the build-up to SummerSlam where we already know it's the Hart Foundation versus Demolition, but we know that LOD want Demolition and they get really involved in that match. And when we get to August and I do This Week in Wrestling History, I will tell you all about that. But for now, very important that Legion of Doom made their WWF debut this week in 1990. And if we keep with tag teams and zoom to 1997, what are you going to do when you've won the tag titles with Shawn Michaels, but him and Bret Hart rip each other's hair out backstage, and he gets suspended. And you're the tag team champion, and you're in a tag title match against the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. It's a rematch, their rematch clause, and you've got no partner. Well, Stone Cold Steve Austin decided to wrestle the match by himself, and for about 20 minutes he did. And then towards the end, something really strange happened. Some random music started. And Mick Foley appeared on the Titantron without a mask on. That's right, it's the birth of Dude Love. Dude Love comes out to the ring, dancing around, teams with Austin for the last few minutes of the match, hits some sweet shin music. Got to be careful how I say that. And Austin retains the title, and now Dude Love is his new tag team partner, and they win the title. Retain. I'm not sure how they class that in the record book, but yeah, Austin has a new tag partner. It's Dude Love, and they are the tag team champions, steamrolling into SummerSlam. And that was a week after Canadian Stampede. So yeah, down in sunny Texas. But
Bloody Dude Love. I thought you were going to say Bloody Diesel. The Shawn Michaels tag team partner.
Diesel. No.
Well, I was a bit, yeah.
That's coming in August.
Okay.
Because I'm a historian, I've wound it back and I've kept on a bit of a theme. This is another tag theme, but we go back to 1985. That's right, it's the year of WrestleMania 1, the first WrestleMania, and we've still got the fallout from WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1, the US Express, Barry Windham, Mike Rotundo, IRS, lost the tag titles to the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. Well, this was their rematch. They finally got it, and they lost. But there you go. And both Windham and Rotundo would leave the WWF not long after this, and the Sheik and Volkov would crack on. They would lose the tag titles, and not far after, but this was a rematch, and they retained the tag titles. So the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. Maybe you could sing the Russian national anthem for us, like Nikolai Volkov used to do at the start of each match. Should we do that?
I've seen Rocky 4 a few times, so I might be able to do it word for word. But I have got a question for you about Barry Windham.
Oh yeah, go on. The stalker.
Is he Greg the Hammer Valentine?
No.
No. They look the same. Well, they both got blonde hair and they're pretty big blokes, aren't they?
This week in
Tumbleweed.
No, they're just for the benefit of anyone who isn't watching on YouTube and they're on Spotify. My face said it all, but no, they are different people.
Ah, okay.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Oh, I'm sure there were other people out there who might have thought the same thing.
If they are,
some people think Chad Gable and Grande Americano are the same person.
They do, don't they? I mean, some people just thick.
Yeah.
So that's all we can say. Right, let me whiz through a few more then. You know how I said it's not Bret Hart's birthday and it's not Canadian Stampede? So we can't really talk about that. That's legitimate, yeah. But what we can talk about is this week in wrestling history on Monday Night Raw. Bret Hart had one of his best title defense matches against the 1-2-3 Kid. Actually, it's Sean Waltman's favourite match that he was ever in of all time. It was a fantastic match that goes almost 40 minutes. Actually kicked off Raw, and they only had time for one other match after that and a couple of quick promo segments. But yeah, an amazing match. It's so amazing that 3 years ago at one of the AEW pay-per-views, and I forget which one, and I do apologise, and Andy will hate me for that, where CM Punk returns to fight Darby Allin. Almost 90% of the match is exactly the same as the Bret versus 1-2-3 Kid match, because Punk wanted to do the same thing, because there's a big size difference.
Oh, wow.
But it's different when you're 250 pounds going up against like a 170 pounder. It's not the same as a 200 pounder going up against a 400 pounder. You know, these guys are still both really agile. They can still do loads of things, but
Yeah.
you've got to make it believable that Darby Allin can hip toss CM Punk, and Bret Hart had to make it look like the Kid could do those sorts of things as well. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal match. If you think 1994 was too long ago to watch wrestling, then like I say, it was basically completely reused 3 years ago in AEW. So go back and watch it. It's a great match. What wasn't a great match was this week in wrestling history in 1995 when WCW had Bash at the Beach on a beach. It was outside at a beach, and Hulk Hogan retained the title in a sort of cage thing match against the man they called Vader. Big Vader. And I mentioned this because last week I said that Vader debuted in WCW back in 1990. Last week in wrestling history, well, this week in wrestling history, this was pretty much it for Vader. You know, this is where are we? July 1995. We know that by December 1996, he signed. December 95, he signs with WWE, and he's in the Royal Rumble in January. So it's the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. We're not quite sure. And just to vary it up a bit, you've heard me mention WCW, you've heard me mention AEW, I'm going to mention ECW. And the only reason I'm going to mention this is because in this day, in 1999, they had their most watched pay-per-view ever, and it was Heatwave. It was actually the Dudley Boys' last pay-per-view before they went to the WWF. But yeah, just a little shout out to ECW because it was their most watched event ever. But in 2021, this was WWE's most watched event in 18 months. That's because in 2021, WWE had Money in the Bank, and it was the first time they had a live crowd in the crowd since the pandemic started, just before WrestleMania 36. So you go from ECW getting its biggest viewing figures ever to Money in the Bank, and it's the first time we had crowd. That was in 2021, and of course, John Cena returned to stare down Roman Reigns. Everybody remembers that because it was such a big deal. But in 2019, because I'm sticking with fans here, you notice I've gone the most fans at ECW, fans for Money in the Bank. This was the last time The Undertaker wrestled in front of fans. It was the Extreme Rules pay-per-view in 2019. The last ever time The Undertaker actually wrestled in front of fans, because at WrestleMania 36, there were no fans. It was a boneyard match. So there we go. Someone who switched fans off was a man who had only one match in 1995. His name was Fantasio. That's right.
Fantasio.
No one's going to remember that. He had one match on Superstars. It was a disaster. He turned up at the next TV tapings and set fire to the gorilla position table, and he was fired. Go and find that on YouTube. Yep, that's how bad things were in 1995. Speaking of bad, before I wrap this up, how bad do you think it would be if you were standing on a beach and one of those paragliding people goes past You know how fast they go on those speedboats, and they're hanging on to like a glider thing. Imagine if you were just standing there, minding your own beeswax, chilling out, getting ready for SummerSlam, getting that tan on your body, and one of these paragliders smashes you in the face with both their kneecaps. Well, that's what happened to Brutus the Barber Beefcake in 1990 in This Week in Wrestling History.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
it's one of them. It's not funny. It's a miracle he didn't die. Um, he actually had to hold the top of his mouth in and his jaw so that he could breathe because his whole face was collapsed. Absolutely insane. Took him out of SummerSlam 1990. Famously, the Texas Tornado took his place and beat Mr. Perfect for the title. But yeah, absolutely horrific. Thank God he did wrestle a little bit more. We got him at WrestleMania 9, and of course he went to WCW as some interesting characters. But I think Fraz will remember the Disciple more than anything.
Yeah, legendary, and he was pretty stacked then as well.
It was pretty stacked. So that leaves me to leave you with someone who left us. Do you see what I've done there? This is the last one. That in 2011, at Money in the Bank in Chicago, Illinois, CM Punk defeated John Cena, took the WWE title, and quit. Do you remember that? He ran off in the crowd and he cheers byed. I mean, he quit for a week, but he quit. CM Punk. I leave you with CM Punk as he left us. But thankfully he came back. And I'll be back next week with more from the vault.
Well, I'm sure Andy will appreciate that last one there. A bit of CM Punk. That was when I hated him.
Yes,
But
you
now
were a
he's
big
pretty
fan.
cool. Now he's pretty cool.
Hence I said, thank God he's back.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for that, David. I learned some more. Just going back to Brutus Barber Beefcake before we move on to the round table. Was that why he wore that stupid mask?
Yes, at WrestleMania 9, yeah.
That was, wasn't it? Oh,
Yeah, because they just
it's a
didn't...
bit
Well, I mean,
nice.
they did a storyline where Money Incorporated smashed him in the face with a IRS's briefcase. But yeah, it's predominantly that you just don't know how safe he was in the ring. And then until you get in the ring, so he had this protective mask. And then as time went on, it's like, okay, I can wrestle to a degree. We can work around this. And he didn't need the mask by the time he got to WCW. Or some people would say he should have still kept wearing the mask. But anyway.
Well, sticking with kayfabe, I mean, Io Sky got hit in the face with a briefcase. She should wear a mask now.
She should. As a matter of fact, should we go and get Brutus's WrestleMania 9 mask?
I think that might cost a bit of money, but...
Well, she can buy it. We'll just find it on eBay and send her the link. Job done.
Send her the link, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, with that...
So yeah, some hits and misses, shall we say, from the vault this week.
No, I thought they were all hits. That's very interesting indeed. It's just a shame that Eddie wasn't here for his ones, but I'm sure he can watch it back and leave some comments.
That's why I've put them in there. Yes,
As we are desperate for comments.
Yeah.
Well, the round table question might get some comments. This week, I posed the question to you, Dirty Dave. Seth Rollins went down hard on Saturday. Hurt his knee again, apparently.
Oh, yes.
But my question to you is it legit or is it just a work? Because it does leave creative in a sticky predicament if it is legit. What's it do to the faction? What's it do to SummerSlam? What's it do to the Money in the Bank? Briefcase. I mean, there's so many. They have put their proverbial eggs in his basket. And you kind of think, well, if it is legit, does that mean that Bronson Reed is now going to become the leader of this faction?
It's interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. I thought it was legit up until the point that Paul Heyman phoned someone. So watch Saturday night's main event recap show that we're going to do. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But if you watch that carefully, when Seth is sitting on the floor in the corner, there's no X sign from anybody. They don't rush loads of people down. There's always a doctor at ringside, so someone does come over and have a look at him. And while that's happening, Heyman gets his phone out and talks. You know how Heyman does with his phone. He doesn't do it like normal people. Put it up to his ear. He goes meow, 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 in front of his face. So who did he ring? Why did he ring someone? What's the plan? What's it going to do? Now, we could turn around and use that in a storyline, but that is pretty quick thinking on your feet to say, I'll do this, and we'll turn it into a storyline. We'll turn it into whatever storyline we want. It could be that I've called someone to come and join the faction. It could be that I've called the faction themselves to say, right, plan B, or it could be to say he rang Triple H and said, look, Seth's injured, but he's still got 12 months to cash his money in the bank. So there's lots of ways we can make that phone call mean something. But I just think, Christ, that was really quick thinking.
Yeah.
If that's the case. So that then leads me to think that there's a purpose to that. And that could be Seth's not injured, or Seth was injured going into the match and we've known about it, which is why he hasn't really wrestled much. And he did the most he could, and he didn't actually hurt himself at the point where he did, if you get what I mean. It's a bit like a Shawn Michaels knee injury, where it's not necessarily a case of landing funny and it snaps. It's like prolonged abuse, and it's now got to the point where his knee is so swollen that he can't wrestle on it, safely anymore, and he does need to have something done. So, I'm not sure. I think it's a work.
I thought it was legit as well, but then Andy called me Sunday or Monday, I can't remember. We had a discussion about it, and he brought up the whole ref didn't throw up the X sign. Wouldn't surprise me if he, they sold it as he's going to be out for 9 months, and then when he does return, it'll be a massive shock because everyone is assuming it's legit. So I'm with you. I think it could be a work, and we could still see him cash in at SummerSlam. I know that seems a bit too soon, but how perfect would it be if Punk does beat Gunther and then Seth is there to pick up the pieces and cashes in, and he's fine the whole time? Yeah, and it would also make sense as to, going back to Roman Reigns, obviously people want to see Roman and Seth because to get his own back. But if Roman's going to piss off after SummerSlam, there's no point in starting a storyline, is there, and stopping. No. So what better way than go, well, I'll tell you what, we'll pretend he's injured. He can come back, win the title. Roman goes away for a few months again. Bronson and Braun do a number on him and Jay, as we've already alluded to, and then maybe we get Roman back at Survivor Series.
Well, this is it, and that's what I think we'll do. I think this is a distraction to keep Seth safe, and what a cowardly heel thing to do to stay away from Roman Reigns is to pretend to be injured, and then we know Roman's probably going to disappear after SummerSlam for a month or two, so maybe the trio, or whatever they're called these days, but Braun and Bronson, maybe they destroy him a bit at SummerSlam, and then everyone's forgotten about it, and then boom, right at the end of the night, here comes Seth, wins the title, cashes in, and Seth gets a good 2 months to gloat about it, and then yes, we start to build to Survivor Series, because as we've mentioned on some of our other shows, Survivor Series this year is in a stadium, it's like a baseball stadium, so it's going to be the biggest Survivor Series ever, because the biggest Survivor Series crowd has always been in an arena, probably because of the weather around November. So they're going to have to do something big at Survivor Series, and in the Survivor Series advert, it did say War Games, so that's going to have to be big, and that could definitely be how they do it. Yeah, so for me, I'm putting a tick in the it's all a work column.
But to play devil's advocate and say it is legit, I also thought maybe Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker just dominate completely. They get someone else into the faction. Bron Breakker either wins the title or is completely insane and destroys everyone. and then Seth comes back as a face. And do a bit, or maybe not a face, but maybe does a bit of a. You might have said it actually, Randy Orton Triple H Evolution style.
I think I said
Braun wins the title.
Braun, yeah,
and then,
that's right.
And then Seth comes back
and says, "Who do you think you are? It's supposed to be mine." Yeah, like when Randy won the title. Yeah, could happen. I think. I don't know who else is going to join the group, and I can't see anyone else is going to be the leader. So we're assuming that if someone joined the group, Braun or Breaker is going to step up and be the leader. Don't know who could fit into the group underneath, and I certainly don't think anyone can take Seth's place as the leader over Breaker. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. There was a little rumor over the weekend that LA Knight might, lead the faction because he sort of did say that he was not sorry, but he did say he hopes Seth gets well soon. He then did turn around and say, obviously, because I want to beat your ass again properly. Yeah. But and you know what they say: if you can't beat them, join them. LA Knight's been beaten up. This hit and run, Austin style stuff on them, but they've been smashing him up as well. If we're not going to pull the trigger on LA Knight being the champ, why not have a heel turn?
Well, I still think it's going to be Ethan Page. I think if they're going to do it, Ethan Page. And the one good thing would be if Seth was out for a while, Paul Heyman gets the mic more.
Yes, I mean that's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah,
and Heyman could essentially be the leader, couldn't he? You don't really need a leader per se if you've got Heyman pulling the strings and being the voice of the group.
You could, that could work. Okay, food for thought. Well, I'm still saying it's work as of this week, and I think what we should probably do is readdress this briefly on each video in the build-up to SummerSlam, and see if our opinions change.
Indeed. And with that, my friend, I thank you for your time this week. Obviously, we wished Andy was here to have a bit of a say on what was going on, but we will enjoy his company next week, I'm sure. And you will be in your holiday.
I will be on my holiday, so I will be watching you guys from the beautiful Wi-Fi based poolside area. And I'll be commenting on all the videos. So
maybe you should do. Have you ever seen any of those social media videos when influencers and stuff go to a pub, and then they give them the QR code that's on the table so people can order drinks? Maybe we should do that next week. Live stream one for you, and you could just be sitting there watching it, and then we can ask our viewers to buy you drinks. It'll just be me and Andy going, "Can we have a tap water, please?"
Yeah, we can. I'm partial to a hurricane cocktail or a Mai Tai. So, yeah, we can get them going if you want.
A few sex on the beaches.
And sit, yeah.
Anyway, straight up, Naomi.
I'm a bit like Anakin. I don't like the sand. But, yeah, straight up. Yes, on that note, thank you very much for this week. It was good. Yes, we do miss Andy. Of course we do. So, Andy, watch the video. Put loads of comments on. Let us know what you thought, and everybody else join in as well.
Indeed. Look out for our recap videos this week and our new series of hot takes where we pick the wildest, where we cherry pick wild takes from Reddit, and me and Dave and Andy will give you our opinions on them. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the shit out of the video. Love you lots. Adios, amigos. When I wake up in the morning, when the sunlight's peeking through the curtain, Mexican. And it's sweating, all I'm thinking is, I can't wake. Olale!